Hello everybody, and welcome back to All the Mods 9. In the previous episode, we set up our Create workshop and filled it with a ton of basic machines, including a general work area, a set of auto crafters, as well as a pair of crushing wheels. In between episodes, I did go through and decorate it up a little bit more. It could still probably use a little bit of work, but I'm at least satisfied for now. Also, between episodes, I did decorate a little bit more on the outside of the build. I added these sort of stone retaining walls, added some trees here and there, as well as filled out this patch of grass. Also made a quick little tree farm, which has been running for probably like 10 minutes or so, and I just realized the flaw in it as I'm doing this right now. Apparently some green tea leaves got stuck. I guess they get generated from this? Actually never knew that. So yeah, I might have to figure out a different storage situation for this. What I'll probably do is just put a barrel here instead. But what I want to do today is head back into Ars Nouveau and set up some crafting so that we can make essences and continue to progress with Ars Nouveau. By the way, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. And if you want to go one step further, why not become a channel member? It's the best way to support me directly, and you get access to all of my videos early. By the way, today's question of the day is, what is your favorite magic mod for Minecraft and why? So, taking a quick look at the quest log here, we need to do a few steps before we're actually able to get up to the enchanting apparatus, which is basically how we upgrade tools into the Ars Nouveau equivalent of them, and that'll give us access to tools that can actually cast spells. But like I said, first we're going to need to use the imbuement chamber and some arcane pedestals in order to craft essences. So what we're gonna need first is some source stone, which can be crafted using any type of regular stone mixed with a source gem. And yeah, I think using dark stone is going to be nice because we have a ton of it. And yeah, we don't really need it for anything else. So I'll just make a stack for now. We might not need that much, but it'll be nice to have it all. So we can go ahead and claim that reward. Looks like we got more source gems, which is pretty nice. And the next step is going to be to craft arcane pedestals. I believe we're going to need 8 of them in total. So let's just go ahead and craft those. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be everything that we need for that. Nice. And we even get... oh, we got some more Wilden wings. I'm also going to craft another imbuement chamber, just because I want the one that we already have to be set up to automatically craft source gems. So what I want to do with this setup is... need to find a good place for this. Probably here, actually. And I always struggle to find how far these need to be. I think it needs one space in between. So if we set it up almost like a crafting recipe, something like that, that should be good. So if we take a look at the uses for the imbuement chamber, we can see that we can craft essences, various items that have different properties and uses. But the main point that I'm trying to get to here is we want to be able to craft each of these essences, which will be used for other crafting recipes in the future. And one thing to note about this is that it doesn't actually consume the items that surround the recipe. It just consumes the source gem. So the essence that I want to start off with today is the air essence. Now, it does require a feather, Wilden wing, and any type of arrow. I was just looking through my AE system, and apparently I don't have any feathers, so I'm gonna have to go out and find a chicken. Alright, I've got all of my ingredients, so now we should just have to... I think we just put them in any order around here. Putting the source gem in last. And I guess these actually have to be placed one in. That's actually kind of interesting. I thought that it would have been the opposite, but this takes up a lot less room overall, so I'm not too mad about that. Here we go, placing the source gem in now. And I'm gonna steal a few of these source jars. Hopefully we can get a little more source up and generating, but that should help for now. And I really love the visual effects of Ars Nouveau. They look really nice. All right, there's our air essence. All right, and I was just looking through the recipes to see what we can craft with the air essence. There is something specific I want to craft with this, but I was looking and apparently we can get protection of the 4 elements. I'm not really sure what that does. It might be like the equivalent of netherite, considering it does consume a netherite ingot. Yeah, that could be definitely something that we work towards pretty quickly. But what I want to use the air essence for is the leap glyph. Here we go, and we do have everything that we need for this. Unfortunately, it'll consume our wild and wing, and we just need the air essence. There we go. Nice. So what this will allow us to do is actually jump up into the air, and if I press C with the book in my hand, I would like this on one of the early ones. We'll just put it on 5 for now. So what I want to do is have the form to be self, and we will have leap, and we don't need to amplify right now. I think I'm gonna call it psionic jump. All right, so let's take a look at what leap does. Now, I want to be in a safe place to do this. I do have feather falling 4, but just in case. So what this does is it shoots you up into the air, or I guess any direction that you are facing. Now, one bad thing about it though is that if you go too far, you will take falling damage. But we can combine it with another glyph. That basically gives us a bouncing effect, preventing us from taking fall damage. We will, however, require an abjuration essence, which is a fermented spider eye, sugar, and a bucket of milk. Overall, this recipe isn't too bad. I should have everything for that. And funnily enough, I actually already have some in my storage system. I must have gotten it from a quest reward, so we don't even need to craft that. We will need 3 slime. This little slime farm actually produces a decent amount. You don't need a lot of slime early game, especially in modded Minecraft, so honestly just having that tiny little mini farm is really nice. So what I want to do is get rid of... Oh wait, no, we don't even need to use that. We just need to do that, click bounce, throw our abjuration essence there and our slime balls. And now we have bounce. And now if we go ahead and add that to the spell, if we use it now, you can see that we bounce now instead of taking damage. This is legitimately one of my favorite spell combos in Ars Nouveau. It's really useful for traveling, and yeah, it's it's really funny looking too. I love it. So I am going to add amplify to leap. Now, I'm wondering if I want to use 2 amplifies or just 1. I think 1 will have to do for now. So we'll go like that. And yeah, that's so much better. It's almost at a point where it's like a rocket with elytra, but you do fall pretty sharply with this. There's one other thing that we could add to this, but unfortunately we're not at a point where we can get tier 3 glyphs yet. There is one major problem with this spell, and that's that it consumes a ton of mana. And the way to solve that is to craft our very own Ars Nouveau armor. And I think the recipes for this armor has actually changed since the last time that I played with this mod. It looks like there's no netherite tier. So we will have to go back to diamond armor, unfortunately, if we want to use this armor. But I think at least for now, it's going to be worth it. And we can always come back to our current armor if we don't decide to use a lot of Ars Nouveau. And in general, this is a pretty decent look at the armor if you're going to go invisible. If you're wanting to get into Ars Nouveau, perhaps a little bit earlier than I did. And of course, there's always enchantments that you can add to your regular armor, such as mana regen and mana boost. Kind of give you a decent amount of extra mana, but I don't think it's quite as much as the actual Ars Nouveau armor. But I am getting ahead of myself once again, because the major thing that we're going to need in order to craft this armor is actually Mage Bloom fibers, which comes from Mage Bloom, which comes from Mage Bloom seeds, which you get by crafting 4 source gems and any type of seed, it looks like, inside of an enchanting apparatus. So I'm going to go ahead and make the enchanting apparatus. It looks like we have everything for that. And I believe we also need a core for this, the arcane core. Just like that, nice and easy. We even get an extra reward for that. More Wilden Wings. That's actually pretty nice. Wilden Wings are decently hard to obtain. Alright, so what we need to do for this, I'm just going to use the same setup, just because I think it looks a little bit weird. I could move this over a little bit and have 2 different setups. Is it worth it though? Probably not at this stage. Maybe when we get further into the mod, we can do that. So, like I said, this is going to be 4 source gems. I don't think the placement of those actually matters. And then we have a seed in the middle. And I absolutely love this animation as well. Nice. So I'm probably going to make a few of these just to help get a head start. I do think that you get additional Mage Bloom seeds as you continue to farm them, but this will be a better way of getting started. And by the way, for this, I think I'm going to use Inferium Farmland. Now, I haven't gone over Mystical Agriculture at all. Inferium Farmland will increase our growth rate of our plants, so, I mean, I might as well do it, right? So I'll take that, and yep, I'm gonna get started on planting a new field. I guess over here will work for now. Eventually I'd like to have my own like little setup for this. Maybe even like a little floating field, perhaps. Like a bubble floating above the island or something. I'm not too sure. Alright, actually yeah, I wanna get rid of that if I can. Do that. That should work. Something like that. And right now I just have the 2 seeds, but that should do for now. And yeah, I'll just start making some more as well. And yeah, I should just be able to bone meal these and get a decent amount of Mage Bloom back. Now, oh, it does seem like we don't actually get any seeds. Yeah, I think I'm remembering that we don't get seeds for that. So if we want to fill this field out, we will have to manually craft all of the Mage Bloom seeds, which is all right. And honestly, we don't really need a ton of Mage Bloom, but it'll definitely be nice to have at least this little plot right here, just for the future. Oh, interesting. If we use botany pots, we can actually have a chance for Mage Bloom seeds. Interesting. All right, and that is all of them placed down now. So I do have a decent amount of Mage Bloom now. And if we just craft that, that'll turn into Mage Bloom fibers, which we will need 4 sets of right now, I think. We need 16. And if we just get this diamond armor, oops, we need to place the Mage Bloom first. It should be 4 for each recipe, if I'm remembering correctly. Nice. All right, there's our helmet. And lastly, our boots. So let's go ahead and equip this. And yeah, it looks really snazzy. And now if we use our leap spell, it should use a lot less of our mana. Which it does seem to be. Not by much. We did have some extra mana enchantments on our armor, so overall it's gonna be a little bit better, but not by much. But eventually this armor will be able to be upgraded into a netherite tier, and we can actually choose what kind of path that we want to go down eventually. We could go air, earth, water, or fire. And we can also upgrade this armor into tier 2 armor, giving us another slot modifier, which we haven't quite discussed yet. but we will get to that eventually. But it does double our mana, at least on this piece, and gives us a tiny bit more mana regen. So using the enchanting apparatus once again, we just need 2 blaze rods each, and that should upgrade it into a tier 2 piece of armor. All right, and this should be our last piece, all upgraded into tier 2 now. And you can see each piece now has 60 max mana instead of 30. So if we equip that all, let's see how that actually looks. You can see our mana going up quite a bit and regenerating. And yeah, that takes a lot less, literally half as much as it did before. So we can almost fly with this spell now. And of course, this armor can also be enchanted. So I'll probably be working on getting a decent amount of enchantments on each of these pieces as well. One more thing that we can do is actually upgrade our diamond sword into an enchanter's sword. We're just going to need some source gem blocks, blocks of gold, and a diamond. Not too bad overall. All right, we'll get these in there. Blocks of gold, diamond, and last up, our sword. Now, the reason I'm using this sword... Excuse me, I'm trying to record here. The reason I'm using this sword is because, as you'll see here, it should keep all of its enchantments, which it does. Nice. So this is actually a very special sword because it's actually capable of casting magic, similar to how we use our spellbook. And it has been a while since I've done this, but I think we're going to need a piece of blank parchment, which is just Mage Bloom and paper. And I think we go blank parchment, then we pull out our spellbook and we'll put bonfire on there. Then we right click maybe, and then right click that. No, I don't think so. Oh, of course, shift right click. Then, maybe it's like that. There we go. And of course, we will have to modify this to work with a sword. Actually, we're going to make a brand new spell for this. So for this, it doesn't need a form. It acts essentially as a enchantment. So what we can do is we can put harm on there. We could amplify it, ignite, make it sensitive, I guess. Anything else we want this to do? Probably not. We could have it summon wolves. Yeah, I think that should be good for now. We'll call this Flame Blade. Okay. So now, if we place the parchment back in there, shift right click that. Now right click. This is a little bit confusing. Okay, it's on there now. I'm not sure how I got it, but it's there. So what we can do with this is try to find an enemy. Alright, well, I wasn't able to find an enemy in the cave, so we'll have to go with old reliable wandering trader here. So, if you keep an eye on the mana bar in the bottom left, it'll actually consume mana every time we... Yeah, there we go. Every time that we use this sword. So it is essentially using a spell every time that we swing it. And yeah, it does give us a bonus damage and a little bit of flame, but at the cost of a little bit of mana. If we want to use a ranged spell, sort of like how we have our bonfire spell, what we can do is use the enchanter's wand and we can assign it a spell. We can also have one set up to have our leap spell, and that would basically just make it a little bit easier to find it if we ever run into an emergency situation. So I'm just going to go ahead and craft up everything that I need for this. First off, I'm going to need a manipulation essence. It just needs a clock, redstone dust, and a stone button. So we got everything that we need right there, as well as a source gem, just like that. Maybe not like that. Oh, right, of course, it needs to be an imbuement chamber. And we'll make another air essence. All right, and I think I have everything that I need for this. Got a couple gold ingots, some source gems, and last up our manipulation essence, air essence, and an archwood log in the middle. And oops, this needs to be the enchanting apparatus. Go like that. There we go. Nice. And here we have it, our brand new wand. I think I want the spell to just be a harm spell with a couple of amplifies on it. I think we can do that again. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna call this Eldritch. Well, Eldritch. Did I spell that right? Eldritch Blast. I think I spelled that right. So if we go like that, let's try to figure this out again. Go like that. Shift right click with our spell book, and then shift right click. Wand accepts effects and augments only. Okay. The weird thing is that we do only have augments and effects selected. Interesting. So it always needs to start off with projectile and accelerate. So we're gonna have to find out how to make the accelerate glyph, which, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, here we go. Whoops, that's my spell book. All right, so let's try this again. We will go projectile, accelerate, harm, amplify, amplify. Let's try this now. Shift right click on the book and shift right click with that. Still no. Okay, I think I figured it out. For the wand itself, apparently you don't actually need a spell parchment. You can just use your spell book. If we find something to hit, we can right click just like that and it goes really fast. Nice. Awesome. So this has been a pretty quick look into Ars Nouveau enchanting and crafting armor and weapons and wands. Unfortunately, because this is the All the Mods 9 mod pack, a lot of this stuff is going to get outscaled really quickly, especially when we actually get into the All the Modium mod. And when we make Apotheosis armor, etc., etc., it's just going to be not very good eventually. But for the time being, it should do us very, very well. And honestly, I'm having a blast doing this anyway. I think that's all the time we're going to have for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.